In this video, we're gonna generate AI model, sculpt it, then refine geometry, rig and pose it, and get ready to 3D printing. Hey guys, this is Steph, and today, as many of you asked, I gotta show you how to prepare AI generated model for 3D printing, along the way refining it and posing. So we're gonna do Cammy from Street Fighters. That's gonna be a present to my friend who is a big fan. And as a first step, we're gonna use Hitem 3D to create 3D model. In my opinion, it is really good in creating detailed model, especially for 3D printing. Okay, here is my reference image I created in Gemini. We're gonna go to Hitem. Okay, we're gonna drop the image. Now we're gonna select 1.5 version, of course. We're gonna use 1536p, and I also generated texture just to check how it will look, and we're gonna press generate. Here is the result. So as you can see, texture is not really nice, but geometry is really good. And you might see I generated model in T-pose with legs spread. That's because I don't want some parts to be too close, so I can rig them and pose as I want. That's a very good result. Let's download it as GLB and let's continue in Blender. Okay, so I'm gonna open Blender. What I'm gonna do, I'm gonna press A on a keyboard, X on a keyboard, and choose to delete all. That's how I clear the scene. Now what I like about new Blender is that we can actually drag and drop file in the scene and import it. All right, that's it. Now we're gonna go to controls. We're gonna pose it a little bit so it stays on the ground plane. Guys, I did a simple tutorial for the beginners how to use Blender and do sculpting. Check out episode 1 to get idea how to navigate in Blender, do simple things. All right, getting back, so I will set camera to the front. I will just position it here so it's set on the ground. The another thing is that from some models like Hitem or Tripo, it is exported with some sort of group. So you can press it here, it's in a word, and this is the actual model, and this is sort of like group. So we don't really need this group, especially for printing. So we're gonna select the model here, and we're gonna move our cursor on space and press Alt P on the keyboard and select clear and keep transformation. That's it. We basically detached it from the parent. Now we can choose that object, just delete it by pressing del. And the last thing before we are ready for editing, we're gonna go to object, set origin, and origin to 3D cursor, which will move it here, which is perfect for 3D printing. From the changes I want to do, I want to extend neck a little bit. We will also fix some problem with textures. Her forearm look very big. Geometry is a little bit messed on her suit on the sides. And the main thing I don't like is that one braid is actually missing. So we'll cut one part and attach it here. That should be fun and easy. All right, so to get started, as usual, we can go enable statistics and we can see that right now there's like almost 2 million polygons. We're gonna go to sculpt mode. We're gonna go to remesh, set voxel size to 0.001 meter and do remesh. That will increase the amount of polygons, but make mesh dense enough so we can do smoothing and other operations. Right now it is almost 7 million triangles, which is okay for sculpting. So how we're gonna approach it, that we're gonna go to lasso mask like this. Remember, when you hold Ctrl, that will invert any action such as brush, masking. Okay, so we selected head. Now we're gonna go to mask and we're gonna go invert mask. Then we're gonna grab elastic grab brush. Also, to not get lost, you can always see mouse buttons and keys that I'm pressing right here. Guys, I'm really thankful for your support. So I managed to get some pro subscription for Hitem 3D so you can generate amazing 3D models by your own. To get that, support this video, leave a comment, and I'm gonna do giveaway in a few days. Okay, we're gonna press F and make the brush bigger and try to move the whole head higher. We'll basically extend it. Now we can clear the mask and let's press Shift and smoothen the area that we just extended. Again, every time pressing Shift will enable the smoothing brush and it's super easy. And we can also move the neck a little bit back because it's too big. Now we're gonna need to fix the braid, smoothen it a little bit. We're gonna use clay brush that actually add more strength. Again, I'm regulating size by pressing F on the keyboard. It's super easy. You can see that it doesn't look really smooth. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna remesh it additionally after we did the extrusion of the head. So that extended part has the same resolution. Okay, and now you can see when I use clay brush, it is smoother. Okay, here is the result. I spent around 5 minutes to do that. Also, we gonna use shift to smoothen the brows. And eyelashes, as you can see, like both Streepo and Hitem, they extend them too much. Don't really need it for 3D printing, right? So we're gonna smoothen brows in eyelashes as well. With a clay brush, I can extend it a little bit. And here we're gonna smoothen it. Also, there is a blob brush and we can magnify the eyeball a little bit. All right, here it is. I also smoothen some areas on the hat, on the lips. Also, I want to smooth the breast a little bit. I will just use smooth brush to just smoothen the transition. Okay, now it looks more like part of a suit. And the same thing I want to do with the bottom part, but in this case, I will use the flatten brush that will basically flatten the area within the radius. You can regulate the size, the intensity of the brush. Now it's done, and look how clean it looks. Perfect for painting, and that was super easy. Now on the hand, this area look really big. So what we're gonna do is use clay brush with pressing Ctrl. That will actually move it. What we're gonna need is to remove some area down. Okay, don't worry that it's inaccurate right now. Just remove the volume, downsize it. Yeah, we can use the smooth brush along the way. That's pretty much the size I want. Now using crease brush, we can actually make this transition from the close to the hand. Again, use the flatten brush, but we're trying to save the muscles on the hand. Okay, so I think that's enough. Looks good. I also did the same for another hand. And let's now do the most important part. In sculpting mode, let's go back to lasso mask. Let's select the braid, something like that. Again, always by holding Ctrl, it will inverse the action. We're gonna to mask and mask, slice, and fill holes. That basically will cut the masked area, but that kept the geometry in the area of slice. Now we can remove the mask. We can go to the object mode. We're gonna Shift D the model, hide the original, and let's go to the sculpt again. Now we're gonna cut that bright ending as a geometry, and we're gonna attach it to another model. So let's use the lasso mask. We can also use the mask painting. We're gonna need to do accurate cut. No need to make it 100% perfect. This is enough. Let's go mask, invert, and do the same operation, mask, slice, and fill holes. Sometimes you're gonna need to wait a little bit because the geometry is big. Now let's unhide another model. Now we do have a bright ending. You cannot see controls. That's because the origin is where the original model origin is. We're gonna fix it by go object, set origin, and origin to geometry. Now you can see that controls just need to use rotate, move, and scale to position it perfectly. Okay, after a few minutes, I actually set it in perfect position. Now we're gonna select this model. We're gonna select another model with shift, and we're gonna press Ctrl J on the keyboard. That will basically join both objects together. Now we're gonna go to sculpting mode, do remesh again. After some operations like that, or like heavy extrusion, it is really good to do remesh. And now we can basically continue do sculpting as before. We're gonna smoothen this area a little bit. Okay, just so transition look more natural. I can use clay to draw stripes a little bit if we want. And that's basically it. Alright, our model is done. Let's go back to object mode and let's take a look what we have. So first, after sculpting, we do have quite a lot of polygons, and it's not really good for rigging. That will make it difficult to work, but that's not a problem. We're gonna reduce the amount of polygons without harming the quality with Blender modification. So we're gonna go to the modifier tab, go generate, select decimate, go to collapse. In ratio, we're gonna find a value that will not make model look worse and keep it all the details, but reduce the amount of polygons. So this value might vary from model to model. In my case, it was 0.15. When you apply it, it might freeze for a while. Now you can see it's half a mil, and you can actually rotate and look on the scene if it still looks decent and there is no quality loss. If that's totally fine, like in my case, you can basically go and apply a modifier. Looks like all the details I need are in place and I don't really see any problems. My general recommendation is that try to keep amount of faces less than 1 million before you move to the rigging stage. Select the model, press F4 on the keyboard and export it as FBX. Now let's move to the rigging part. For that, we're gonna use mix ammo. Go to mix ammo, go to upload character, select the FBX character which is export, give it some time to upload and process the character, and here we go. The orientation is right. Now we're gonna need to place markers, and here you can see that by default the symmetry is enabled, but we can see that in our case it's not 100% symmetric, but that's fine. We can disable symmetric, and yeah, I want to place chin exactly in the middle. Don't worry if it's not 100% accurate, but try your best. Okay, when it's done, we don't need to change any settings, and let's press rig. After a while, we have the result. It looks actually very good, except bright. That's totally fine because we're gonna fix it on our end in Blender. Let's download the model. It can be FBX and T-pose is totally fine. Let's press download. Let's drop it to the Blender back. You can import FBX. Alright, and here you already can see that the model is in different pose. That's because we have bones on it. We're gonna select the armature by pressing on any visible bone. Go to the right menu into the armature setting. Go to viewport display, checkbox in the front. So we can see bones and pose the model. Now, when we have armature selected, with pressed shift, we need to select mesh, so both are selected, and we're gonna go to weight paint mode. So here, by pressing Ctrl Shift on any bone, you can see weights of this bone. Basically, weights mean the area affected by this bone. You can press R to test the rotation, and here you can see when I rotate this bone, it actually moves the braid, which I don't really want. To fix that, we need to go to brush, set the weights to 0, and basically paint that braid area into heavy blue color, which will mean that this bone do not affect the braid. Now, when we move this bone, the braid isn't moving at all. But if we select the shoulder, so here we can see that it affects it a lot. We're gonna need to do exactly the same. When we have a lot of polygons, like in this case, it might be a little bit difficult to paint with brush. So to speed up the process with braids, we're gonna go to edit mode. We're gonna go to wireframe mode. Pressing B, we're gonna try to select the braid as much as we can. Go back to weight paint and choose the vertex selection mode. So we're gonna work with selected vertices, and instead of painting, we're gonna go weights and set weights. Alternatively, you can use Ctrl X to do the same thing. That will basically assign the current weight to all selected vertices. And that is way easier because we can go through the bones like this one, like the hip bone. Let's do the same. Let's go to the vertex mode again. Go to weights, set weights, just remove the weight. And you can see it actually changes the behavior. It's all good now. As you can see, it's still shifted a little bit. That's because I moved some bones and I didn't reset this. To reset all bones movement, just press Alt plus G. Okay, and now all bone movement reset, and we can see how good it looks. Now it's not affected by movement. Now also, what's optional, but I want to show you how you can do that, is to add bones on the braids so you can control them as well. Here how it looks. I added 3 bones and they can move the braid. To do that, we can go outside the object mode and create new object called armature. Go to edit mode. So here is our bone. Select the bone body. We need to basically move the bone in the place we want it to be inside the braid. So how do you move it? Like, it's pretty simple. And you can also press on the bone ending, press E, and it will extrude the bone if you need more of them. Now the most difficult part here probably to position bone along the braid. When it's done, you select the basic armature with Shift and press Ctrl J to join both objects. But make sure you join to the main armature. When objects are joined, we do the same thing. We select the armature, we select the body with Shift, go to Weight Paint. With Ctrl Shift, we select the bone and paint. Here I already did that. Now pressing on the new one, I show you how to add weights to it. Pretty much it's very simple. We go to brush, set weights to 1, choose the radius, and you can just paint the area that you want to affect it. Let's paint it. Here I did some job. Let's go to weights. And we can add smooth just to make sure it's not too harsh. And that's basically what we're gonna need to do for every bone. And now if we rotate this bone, you can see the bride is moving. In this similar way, if you're not happy with some areas, you can take a look on the bones. You can adjust the weights a little bit. It usually happens on some limbs like fingers, but in my case, I'm really lucky. I can see like all fingers can be moved individually, which I'm really happy about. And the very last part, let's pose it. So to do that, we're gonna go to object mode first. Let's select the armature and select the pose mode. Here you basically can move and rotate bones. I'm pressing with hotkeys. You can use controls on the left to do the same. Okay, so here we go. I just finished my pose. I think it looks really good. We can hide geometry anytime, and here is my final result. I will maybe do additional sculpting before I go print after the posing, just to smoothen this some areas after the posing, like this. And to get the model ready, what we're gonna need to do, we're gonna go to the model itself, we go to Modifier tab and apply the armature like this. Now we're also gonna press Alt plus P on a keyboard and press clear and keep transformation, which will detach it from the armature. We can delete the armature. Now it's pretty much ready to be exported, but there is one thing that we can also take care here about dimensions. So you can see dimension here are in a metric system. If they are not in metric system, you can always go to Scene tab, go to units, and make sure you use the unit system that you want. Here in Z, which is height, I will set 0.15, so I want it to be 15 centimeter height. It actually made my model extremely squeezed, but that's not a problem. We go to scale, we're gonna control copy the value we got in Z, control V to all of them, and now it's proportionally scaled to 15 centimeter height. And the very last thing, so scales are exported correctly, we're gonna press Ctrl A on the keyboard and choose rotation and scale, which is apply them as default. Now we are ready to export it. Press F4 on the keyboard, export to STL. And now it's a moment to actually print it. Let's review how it comes up. Guys, I hope you liked the video. If that was helpful, like and subscribe. I really need your support. See you in the next video.